Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah and good afternoon and welcome to the Voice of the Cape's online Matric revision program for this year 2024. And this year's Matric revision program is being sponsored by the Two Oceans Graduate Institute, which is an accredited online platform where you can become a primary school or a high school teacher by studying in the privacy of your own home. If you'd like to find out more information, you may contact the Two Oceans Graduate Institute on the number 021. Apologies, I would like to just repeat the number for those who would like to find out more information about our sponsor with the Two Oceans, which is the Two Oceans Graduate Institute. If you'd like to find out more information pertaining to the Two Oceans Graduate Institute, our main sponsor for this year's Matric Revision Program, you may contact them on the number 021 829 7015, or you may visit them on their website, that is www.togi.ac.za. Alhamdulillah, we continue our matric revision sessions for this year as the matriculants prepare rather for the upcoming examinations. And today we have none other than Mr. Ridwan Basir, who will of course conduct today's session and of course give over today's content pertaining to engineering, graphics, and design. Without further ado, we hand over to Mr. Ridwan Basir to, of course, facilitate today's session. All yours, sir.
Shukran Amir. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Another exciting session that we're going to have. This is all a build up to our final NSC exam for engineering, graphics, and design. And if you have watched all our revision programs throughout the start, you will see that it's all sort of aligned to the question papers that we will be having. Paper 1 now at the moment, which we are doing, and then paper 2, which will be coming very soon. So let us quickly look at where we are at the moment in terms of our sessions where we started. And I just want to go to that specific document and just ensure that you sort of look at where we are, and so that we can navigate ourselves through that particular session that we're going to have, the particular session that we're going to have now and for next week as well. Okay, and remember I started with this very document that I have on the screen here, which I'm sharing, and I just want to take you, we started all question number 1. We are now at question number 4. We've done civil floor plans last week when we did a floor plan where the walls were given to a scale of 1:50. And we continue with elevations. And this particular week, we're going to look at the elevation which must be drawn on top of the floor plan. And I'm going to change to my working document camera now, where I will be able to show you exactly how to do the elevation. And keep in mind that both the civil floor plan and the elevation have a scale of 1:50. Okay, and that is what our session is going to be all about this week. So without further ado, let me go and change my screen and go to my workstation, and you will see that there I have the floor plan which we did last week. Now, this document that I'm viewing now is very important. Remember, all the information comes from this document, and last week we did 4.1 where we looked at the floor plan up until the 4th bulleted point. We did all the hatching. This week we're going to be looking at 4.1.2, which is the southeast elevation. We need to complete the southeast elevation, and you will see that information is right here on my instruction page, and I'm going to read it to you, that you need to show the following features on the drawing. You need to show the outside walls, the sliding door, the steps, and the window detail. Bulleted point number 2, you need to show the roof detail, including the fascia board, gutters, barge boards, roof cap, and the rainwater downpipe. And finally, you must conclude with the finished floor level. So those are all the things that we need to be able to do our elevation. On top of that, they even show you here what the elevation looks like. So no learner doing this paper in Matric can say that you are not given sort of a head start. You are given a head start by the actual diagram of the elevation. The incomplete diagram of the southeast elevation has been given to you right there. All you need to do is to project up so that you can complete this southeast elevation. Keep in mind, grade 12s, that the south elevation is this part of the house, which is where I'm showing you right this moment with my pencil. You are literally standing where I'm pointing my arrow and where my pencil is. So I can see this D1, which is my sliding door, which is that over there. Let me just bring it down for you. I can see this D1, which is my sliding door over there. I can see the steps. That's there. I can move over to this side where I see W1, and you will see that W1 is the window 1 that we will see here, and the detail of window 1 is given here in the door and window schedule. So if you need the information for that particular window, you need to find it here. And keep in mind, you have to scale it down because these are real dimensions that are given on the instruction page. So you will also see that the roof lines are here in dash format, and the roof lines link up with these roof lines that you will see here. You also will find in the instruction very clearly that there are break lines. Now, please, what we've seen too many times during our exams is that learners actually draw these break lines. The break lines are there just to give you an indication what must follow through. So you have to follow through with that fascia board and gutter that you will see here. So that's all going to come out in my drawing. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to project up, keeping in mind that I'm standing where my pencil is, and I'm taking a photo with my camera, and that is where that picture is going to be pasted. Okay, so I'm going to give you the structure very quickly, and then I'm going to refer every time to where I actually get the information. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to project my walls. So you will see this wall will be going up very faintly, of course, and I'm going to draw up this wall over here as well, which is the start and the end of my elevation. But of course, you will see here right at the bottom, that it takes a 90-degree turn because that wall goes in here at the bottom. So there's another corner that formulates here, which I am going to project up to my elevation as well. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on that elevation in a moment. So I just need to get my three corners. And once I have my three corners, the next thing which you are going to do, if it's not given to you, grade 12, is to create a natural ground level here. So I just want to show you in the picture my natural ground level, which I'm going to create any distance away here. Not too close here to your floor plan. Allow yourself some space, but not also too high because you have a limited space on top of your drawing. So I would suggest maybe just enough space to write the south elevation. So I'm going to draw a line here, and I'm going to darken that line immediately because that is my natural ground level. And you'll see that it continues further than the wall corners which I've drawn. And once I have drawn that line, immediately I'm going to write on that line in GL, which basically abbreviates natural ground level. And for that, you're going to get a mark later on as well. Right. And now I will have to go back to my instruction page because what I now need are the heights. So I see here is a height of 3,800, which is 3 meter 800. Keep in mind, I must divide that by 50, and it's going to be 76. So that will be 76. And with that, I'm going to measure And I'm going to move my camera up so that you can see a 76, which is quite high. And I just want to show you where that is in my camera. That is 75, 76 would be right there. So I mark my 76 and I draw that line right through. That is now the height of my top of my roof, my 76, which is 3.8 meters. And I also now need to know that this line here, that line there is obviously this line that you see here in my floor plan. So I'm going to project that down. In fact, this point here is the section that I'm busy with right at the top. So I have to take it from my roof line. So I'm going to project that line up till there. And that is where the straight section would be in my instruction. That is the straight section. Right. Then from there are angles this side and that side. And the angle is going to come from this particular line that you will see here, because it sort of staggers like that. So I'm going to bring this line up here as well from my floor plan. And that is going to be my apex. And that apex is going to be that apex that I see right over here. So that there's a difference, a height difference between this roof A and this roof B here. Okay, and you can see it here in my, it's indicated in my floor plan as well, but you can't see the height difference, but you will see the line being staggered to the one side, which obviously means that there is a height difference. Now, there are angles here which we need to place. And for you to be able to find what that angle is, you have to go down to here where it indicates roof notes. And the first thing that you will find under roof notes is that your roof pitch is 20 degrees. Right? So you need to go and find a protractor. Okay, for 20 degrees. And I'm just reaching for my protractor. And here I find a protractor. Remember, a protractor is a curved ruler. And you need to make sure that this angle down here is going to be 20 degrees. So I'm going to flip my protractor upside down like that. And then when I place my center point perfectly on that point over there, right, there is my protractor, my zero is on that line, and then I'm going to measure 20 degrees from that 0, 10, 20, right there. And of course, I can do the same thing on this side, 20 degrees on that side there. Okay, and once I have that, I can actually just draw a line from my apex point that way, right? And I can draw a line from my apex point this way. And there I have now created my 20 degrees angle that I have in my incomplete southeast elevation. Right. But now, remember, the roof has an overhang, and you will see the overhang here on the sides, and the roof being indicated by a dash line. So we need to project those lines from your floor plan up that way. And you will see there is another one right here at the bottom, which I'm bringing up. There I'm projecting that up. This point is now very important, and that point over there. And what you need to know is that there is going to be a barge board or a fascia board. A fascia board that runs right through, and that fascia board is going to be right here where the break line is. Now keep in mind that point right there is this point over here. So what I'm going to do is to draw in my fascia board faintly. There's my fascia board, and my fascia board has a drop of 200 because it states here in my notes that 200 by 20 millimeter fascia board, which is that over there. And what you need to do here is that the thickness is 20, so that's not taken into consideration. We just need the height of the fascia board, which will be the drop from the top. So 200 then divided by 50 is going to be 4 millimeters. And you just need to measure 4. There's my 4 millimeters. And I'm going to draw my fascia board right there. And now, once I have my O-bang and my fascia board here, I can also ensure that in between or attached to my fascia board, which is a line in between the fascia board, is going to be my 150 by 100 millimeter gutter, which I'm going to place in. So 150 by 100 simply means 100 divided by 50, which is going to be 2. So I'm going to place that in the middle. Literally, I'm just going to measure 2 millimeters down from the 4 and have a line perfectly in the middle. Doesn't have to be in the middle, but if you can get it in the middle, that would be perfect. So that line in the middle there is going to represent your either the top or the bottom of your gutter, right? It can either represent the top or the bottom of your gutter. So there we have that. It's in the middle. On this side, you will see in your instruction that the gutter makes a return on the side. Now that little return that you will see here, and I want to sort of zoom in on that section. So there's your angle. This is the fascia board that you will see here. That is 4 millimeters. Your gutter is in the middle there. Now, if your gutter is at the bottom, there will be a return, meaning that this return will be 3 millimeters further than the gutter. Keep that in mind. 3 millimeters further than the gutter. So what I'm going to do is, on this side here, I'm going to measure 3 millimeters. And I'm going to measure here also 3 millimeters, which is going to be my return. And now I'm going to start darkening things. So I'm going to darken that 3 millimeters here. And I just want to zoom in a little bit so that you can see clearly what I'm doing. Right. So I've darkened this short little line there because that represents the return. And then I'm going to draw my fascia board, the top of my fascia board and the bottom of my fascia board, which I'm clearly marking now. And just before I do that, I'm going to just do the gutter on this side as well. Here's my gutter, which makes a return on this side. And I'm going to draw a line at the bottom, right through till there. Right through till there. And then I'm going to draw another line right through till there. That line is the gutter. Keep in mind that on this side here, grade 12s, there is another overhang part here that we need to project up as well. Luckily, this one is just a line that goes straight up. There is no slant on this section here. So you can see here in your instruction, there's no slant here. It is literally a gable-ended roof, a roof with barge boards on the side. So that can just go straight up, like I've done that now. So my dark gutter will go right until the end of that overhang, and I'm just going to stop it right here. That with a gable-ended roof, the gutter does not go and return on the side. It only happens when there is a side that's slanted, right? Where you have the slanted side here and the slanted side there, which basically means that the gutter will return on the side for the water running this way and the water running this way. This is in fact a hip roof, which means that the gutter will go right around, and that the slants, the roof slants from all three sides. This side, the front, and this side here. But on this side, it is what we call a gable-ended roof. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my fascia board, the top part of my fascia board, which I'm going to draw here. And I'm going to draw a solid line from one side to the other right through. Right. And then I can bring in my slant of my roof right there, which is dark, and my slant of my roof, which is going to be dark right there. This obviously continues to this side here. And remember, this is all coming from my given incomplete south elevation. And I just want to show you again, that is basically what we draw, what we're drawing at the moment, but we're adding the detail that is supposed to be added according to the instructions. So when we add the roof, it is not fully completed. This is where learners actually lose a lot of marks, because you need to add a double line here, which is literally 1 millimeter on the inside, which I'm going to add. And I'll tell you what that line is. That is what we call roof capping. And it's just 1 millimeter on the inside. But you do get marks for both these lines. And many learners just leave out the one line on the inside. They don't show the roof capping. So we only allocate 1 mark if you leave out the other one. Because the one mark is for the height, and the other mark is for the roof capping. And then also on the side here, you need to add another millimeter line on the inside, which now represents your barge boards on the side here. Many learners also do not have those lines available because they only draw 1 line. So these lines are not available in many of the drawings that we mark. So if you are looking at this video, please make sure you add double lines, which is literally 1 millimeter on the inside. And the same applies to these slanted lines here. You put a millimeter on the inside, right there, as I'm doing it now, nice and dark, and a millimeter on the inside. And if you are including these double lines here, it means that every time there's a double mark, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so those are all available to you at that moment. And then what we need to do is, once you have that done, you obviously have to look at your downpipe, which is going to come in later, which I'm going to show you. But just before we do that, I want to bring in the walls. Grade 12s, keep in mind that, you know, I'm just sampling this for you so that you can see exactly the format of how to do these drawings, how to do the roof, where to add the double lines. And because this is an overhang, you will find that the walls will be right here, right under the fascia board. The wall for the one side of the front part of the house will be coming in there. That's the overhang. And of course, here you will see the other wall ending. And you can see there that it all comes from the parts that you see in front of your house where you are standing looking at the arrow. Okay. So keep in mind, there must be 3 lines for the fascia board. 2 of them represent the fascia board, and 1 of them would represent the gutter. If you have the gutter sort of in the middle of everything and you have 4 lines, you are still just going to get 3 marks. And keep in mind that you will have these lines here serving as the roof capping, the barge boards, which you will have as a double line, and it means double marking. Okay, and then you will find the walls will just be on the inside, which creates the overhang. What's going to happen next is that you need to bring the downpipe into consideration. Now, if you look at your drawing, you will find on the instruction that right here at the bottom, it says here RWDP, right, which is in front. That is called the rainwater downpipe. It abbreviates rainwater downpipe. You have to take that circle on your drawing. On this floor plan, you will see it at the bottom. You can't see it now because I'm zoomed in. And you have to project it up, and you have to create that downpipe that you will see running down here from the gutter. So I'm going to project mine up, and you will see clearly what I'm doing. So there is my one side. It's a very thin component coming up from the round downpipe, and I draw it until it reaches the gutter. And then I'm simply going to, if they don't give you the height where the trap, the opening is, you are simply going to put that in close proximity where you will find it on your drawing here. And then I'm going to add, would highlight my sides, which is going to be that, and highlight this side here where my gutter is formed. So you will get 2 marks for each of the lines and 1 mark for the exit point of the rainwater downpipe. Right. We continue by now looking at the natural ground level and the level above that. Keep in mind the roof is now fully completed. So we are going to look at the natural ground level, which we have done already, and what is above that, which is this line that you will see here, which is called your finished floor level, your FFL. Right. Now, sometimes they will tell you the size of the FFL, finished floor level, and all you have to do is that you have to divide it by 50. But in this case, if they don't give it to you, you have to go to this detailed section over here. This is very important. And then look at where's the ground level here. There's the ground level. Where's the finished floor level, which is here. And the distance between the two is, in this case, 300. And that 300 must now be divided by 50. And 300 divided by 50 is going to give you 6, which means that I will take 6 millimeters up from the natural ground level and have a chain line, long, short, representing my finished floor level. Now, learners, you can see that it's not a dash line, it's not a solid line. This is the only line that will be allocated a mark, a chain line, long, short, long, short, long, short. That is your finished floor level. And while you're at it, anywhere on that line, I would suggest that you just label it finished floor level, like you did with natural ground level. And that's very important because these are all half marks for those labels. Then, once you have completed that, you also find in your instruction that there are steps. Now, these steps must be put in on this drawing because it is part of the front where you are standing. So all you need to do is you're going to project this up from your steps here. You're going to project that up from your steps here, and the steps would be the height of the finished floor level, and one step would be half. So if the finished floor level is 6 and half is 3. So all I'm going to do now, and just to eliminate some of the pencil marks here so that I can clear, I'm going to bring up my step, and my step from my floor plan is there, and the other side would be there. I can immediately darken those the one side, and I can darken the other side. And as I've mentioned, if that is 6, halfway is going to be 3. So I've got to measure half. There's my half. And there's my 1 step, which I'm going to darken. Keep in mind, this line here will now change from a chain line to a solid line, because that now forms the height or the top of my second step. Right? So you will get a mark for that line being a chain line, but you also get a mark for this now changing to a solid line. All right. So please keep in mind how I did my step. I projected it up and I created it in the space in between my natural ground level and my floor finish. Now I'm going to move on to other features in the walls. I've done my roof, I've done my downpipe, I've done my gutter, I've done my natural ground level, I've done my floor, finished floor level. Now the only 2 things left would be my door and my window. Just quite straightforward. It features here D for door, which is going to be this door that you will see here and that window that you will see here. The first thing that I'm going to do is to create the gaps for it by projecting it up. So let me do that. So my projection from the floor plan will be up. Learners also keep in mind now, as I project my window and my door up into that space where it's going to be drawn, you also have, keep in mind, if you project your sliding door. Now remember your sliding door, if I must just give you a sketch of what it looks like in your floor plan. Remember you did 3 lines like that there, and then there was a staggered section there. Now the staggered section lines here must be projected up as well. And you also had an arrow here which stated the opening of the sliding door. That arrow must be brought and taken into consideration up in that space as well. So let's do that quickly. So bringing up my staggered section is going to be there and there. And now the height of my door and my window, which is the same height. And you can see here, it falls on the same line. It's the same height. And if you look at the instruction, it will tell you it is 2 meters and 50 divided by 50 because of the scale gives you 41. So from the floor finish, you are going to measure 41. And your 41 is going to be right here, right? So you're going to measure 41. And once you have your 41, you're going to draw your line right through, go there. And keep in mind, the sliding door is from the finished floor level up until the 41. So I'm going to highlight that by darkening it. That's the one side. And then I have the other side. And then I have my one door that overlaps with the other door, and then my height will be there. And then of course I will include my arrow, if that is my arrow, how it opens. So you will get a mark for this side, this in-between one, the in-between ones, the one side, the top, as well as the arrow. Sometimes they even include the bottom, which is the base of the sliding door. And then your sliding door is done. Nothing else need to be added to that sliding door there. Let's go to the window. Remember, the window has the same height as the sliding door unless otherwise specified. So the door that we are busy with here, or the window rather, that we are busy with here is window 1. So if you go and examine, where is window 1? This is window 1. That is the width across, or would I say the length across, which you have already because you projected up. You need the drop Now it is a square because it's 1 meter 500 across and 1 meter 500 in a drop as well. So 1 meter 5 divided by 50 will give you 30 millimeters. So you will have to measure down 30. And there is my block. In that space, I will have my window. Now you can't leave it like that. You are going to get marks for all 4 sides, but the window actually looks like this. So you have to put in all the little detail here, these subsections that you will see here. And you will see here it's 1 meter 200 up to have that pane of the window there, and this opening side and closing part there, and that opening and closing side panel there. Okay, so that 1 meter 200 divided by 50 is 24, and then I have a 500 here, which is divided by 50 will give me 10. So let me do that. So I'm going to have my 10 measured here. There's my one side, my 10, and my 24 up. My 24 up is going to be right there. And there I've created. Now I can darken my window. Right? Now you will see in memos that you might download from the department's website, that the windows actually have double lines. But there is no need for a double line because you only get one mark. The detail is so small that there is no need for the double line. And remember, these are all drawn on computers, so they can add double line. We only need a single line because you only get one mark. But when you have this window, do not forget the only double line that's going to come in here is at the bottom here, 1 millimeter away. And that line represents the window sill. Many learners have a tendency of forgetting that specific line here, which represents your window sill. All other lines are single lines. That's the only line that's double because it represents your window sill. Then you have these things here that says A is an opening side and B is a hinge side. So meaning that the hinges are here. That's going to be how it's going to open. That's the latch side. And you will have this coming like that so that you can open for ventilation purpose. So you have to put that in. So what you need to do is to create the distance here is 30. So you're going to create 15 there. And you can either draw a faint line or a dash line or a chain line for these openings. It doesn't really matter the type of line that you use here. You can use any type of line. You will still get the mark. Here we have 20, halfway is 10, and I'm going to put a dash line in there. Once you have this, you will get extra marks. So that's going to be all marks here for the straight sides and the in-betweeners, and you will get for the opening side as well, the opening and hinge side of the window as well. And there you have your door and your window. As you have it there, you see it's placed in a specific position from where you have drawn it in your floor plan. And the only thing that I need to add is my label, which is going to be in between here, or you can have it on top, doesn't matter, where you are going to write, print in capital letters, now not incomplete anymore because incomplete falls away, and you will have south east elevation. And I'm doing it very fast. East elevation, you have natural ground level, you have your floor finish over there, you have all your window detail, you've got your sliding door detail, you've got your step, you've got your downpipe, you have all the different lines in your roof structure, your gutter, everything is there. If you check it according to your southeast elevation rubric or assessment criteria, you have your roof and your rainwater downpipe, you have your walls and your steps, you have your door and your window, and you have your labels. And by having all of that, you can only get a mark which is allocated here, 23.5 marks, which is the worth of this particular drawing, and which you should only get 23 out of 23. And that, my dear learners, grade 12s, is how you project and complete your elevation on your floor plan in question number 4. Remember, this particular question is broken up into 3 parts, of which I've done the floor plan. Today I've done the east elevation, and next week, very importantly, is going to be the section, the detailed section, where many learners struggle with the roof and the window, how to draw a section view through a door and window, and even the foundation, which they've learned about in grade 10, and what's in the backdrop. And that will come out in our session, which we're going to have next week, which is going to be very exciting. Guys, all the best. Practice, practice, practice to ensure that you attain perfection. Shukran so very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and greetings to all.
We say shukran jazakallah khair, and thank you very much to Mr. Ridwan Basir for facilitating today's session, and dedicated, of course, to all the AGD students, the engineering and graphics design students who are preparing for the upcoming NSC exams. We wish you everything of the very best as you prepare for your examinations. And as a reminder, this is the Voice of the Cape's online matric revision program for the year 2024. It is proudly being sponsored by the Two Oceans Graduate Institute, an institute that is accredited online platform where you can become a primary school or a high school teacher by studying in the privacy of your own home. If you'd like to find out more information pertaining to the Two Oceans Graduate Institute, you may visit them on their website, www.togi.ac.za, or you may call them on the number 021-829-7015. Once again, on behalf of ourselves here at the Voice of the Cape, we'd like to thank Mr. Ridwan Basir for so beautifully facilitating today's session. And we'd like to encourage all of you, the matriculants, to please like and share this video on the Voice of the Cape's YouTube page and Facebook page platforms, and ensure that you send it through to all of those who are preparing for their upcoming NSC exams. We wish you everything of the very best, and from our side, we say shukran. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.